It may not have the same entertainment value as the previous installments, but it does add something more. Lake Placid Legacy. The reboot to the franchise that ignores all previous installments and possibly even the first film. The plot: dared to investigate Lake Placid, Sam, Jade, and their team, along with Jade's sister Alice, head off to their location that was given to them by the darer. Stories have told the area is radioactive, but the Geiger counter reads safe. Warning signs tell them to keep out because of danger, but the place seems perfectly safe. Less than 30 minutes into their investigation, things become dead serious, and now the team are in real danger. Why does everyone hate this movie? They act like the other Lake Placid sequels are masterpieces compared to this film. This movie is harmless to the franchise. It actually adds a bit of something new and fun that I found myself enjoying. I'll get to that in a bit. First off, the characters are not all unlikable. Sure, they're pretty much activists, but they are the non-violent kind. They know that words speak louder than actions, and don't cause a violent outcry when someone doesn't agree with them. Instead, they try to expose big companies for what they are. How does that make them unlikable? Because they're sticking up for what they believe in a non-violent way? What? Only one of them is a douche. The others are only helping each other out. Daryl Rude. How do you say the last name? Rude directed this film, and he does a stellar job. He also directed the decent, from what I remember, Prey back in 2007, as well as Dracula 3000. Ugh. But hey, people make mistakes, and that was, 20 years ago. I also found the cinematography to be interesting. Trevor Calvary creates a unique blue tint to the night scenes that could be day for night, but it was hard to tell. A lot of the scenes take place in a facility, and the lighting is awesome there too. I feel the red tint really adds some menace to some scenes. This leads to what I wanted to talk about earlier. Lake Placid Legacy is the darkest chapter in the franchise. I don't only mean in cinematography, but in the story too. It is taken very seriously, and the idea that the crocodiles are bred in a facility gives them an interesting origin story. This is clearly a reboot of the entire franchise, and I'm actually okay with that. I could go for a more dark and gritty Lake Placid series. I know a lot of people wanted them to bring the crococondos into the forefront, but still, it shows that sci-fi has some darkness left to bring to their movies. The gore, the effects, there are bloody feastings and bodies chewed in half. Most of the gore is near the end, and in that, I think it gives us what we want when we least expect it. It's like, holy crap, where has this been all movie? It does add to your enjoyment before the film is finished. Here's the big part that everyone complains about, the lackluster CGI. Honestly, it is not that bad compared to Lake Placid 2 and 3. It might as well be 90s theatrical quality. Sure, it's not great, and after the build-up, it is kind of a disappointment, but it could have been a lot worse. The motion picture soundtrack, there are quite a few bonds that don't feel necessarily out of place, but a bit weird coming out of a Lake Placid movie. The music as a whole is okay, kind of forgettable actually. This is not the worst Lake Placid movie for sure. Also, a lot of people say this movie is the worst Sci-Fi Channel movie ever made. They clearly don't watch much sci-fi, or they just don't know what makes a good movie. This isn't superb, I know that, but it does have some pretty decent elements. I'd say if you've watched any of the Lake Placid sequels and want something different for an experience, then check it out for sure. Low bro, I give Lake Placid Legacy a 3 out of 5. Lion Brian Gatto, host of Harsh Entertainment. Make sure to like my Facebook page in the description below and leave comments and subscribe.